Hi, ladies. I'm Sharzat Morgan. I'm a grandmother and I was once married for 25 years. So I think I know a few things about relationships. I've been single for almost 10 years, and here are some things I want to share with the ladies. First of all, I want to honor that we are supposed to be selective in the men that we choose. We are supposed to be selective. I made a video mocking men who think we're too damn selective. We're supposed to be selective. And I'm going to link that video right up there above. But I think a lot of women are selective for the wrong things. In my opinion, a lot of women have been sold a myth and they're living in a fantasy land sold to them by fairy tales, romance novels, movies, celebrity culture, and a complete misunderstanding of the economic changes that our world has gone through. A lot of women are looking for a man who is 6 feet tall with six-pack abs, making over $100,000 a year. And you know what? I want you to have that. But that's like 1% of the men in the country. So chances are you're not going to get that. So the reason is that the economy has changed. It started in the 80s with Reagan. Wages have been flat while the cost of housing, education, and healthcare has tripled and quadrupled. In fact, women in their 20s are now out graduating men in college, and women in their 20s are out earning men in their 20s. Women no longer need a man financially, and a lot of men are lost. They're no longer able to support a family on a high school education as they did when I was younger. When I was you guys' age, I'm speaking to the younger ladies here and ladies under 30, a man could graduate from high school, make a lot of money with health care for the whole family, buy a house. Being a UPS driver, UPS drivers were always hot and they had made union wages with health care for the family and pension. A mail worker. One of my friends was a stay-at-home mom. Her husband was a mail carrier. He had pension, health insurance for everyone. They worked in the factories and the mines. Anyway, so a lot of women misunderstand the earnings capabilities of the average American male. When I say that we are selective, I'm not talking about a man who is rich. I'm talking about a man who loves you and who is a friend and who is a partner. I think that looking for someone to give us something we don't have or to fill a void is a losing strategy spiritually and also realistically. But let's assume that you did nail one of these really super rich guys, like a professional athlete or a celebrity. Have you followed these couples in the news and seen how miserable they are and how often they get divorced and their cheating scandals? Those are not happy relationships. The people who watch my channel are interested in happy relationships. They're not the superficial women that are just looking for money. If you're just looking for money, you are competing with tens of thousands of other women for that same guy. But if you're like most women who want a nourishing, happy relationship, great sex, a man that's your friend and your life partner that you go through life with, there are other things to look for besides height, abs, and money. I personally think that men who are in the trades like plumbers, electricians, mechanics. If I were a younger woman, now I have a bachelor's in computer science and an MBA, but if I were a younger woman, I would seriously consider one of those guys. They're fit because they work with their bodies, so they're in great shape. They're in the service industry, so they're likely to have a lot of empathy, and they make pretty decent money. I definitely think that as a woman, we should look for men who can pay for themselves and pay for us a little bit, but mostly a man needs to make us feel emotionally safe. This is my opinion what to look for in a man. A man that's a real friend, that is a complement to my life in terms of my goals, my lifestyle, my fitness, my whether he wants children or not, how he likes to spend his free time, how we can go through life. Can I go through life together with this man? Can I see myself living with this man and going through life together with this man? Can I make this man happy? Can this man make me happy? How do I feel around this man? And mostly, is this man consistent? Does he keep his word? Does he want to protect and provide for me with whatever means that he has? Does he want to take care of me? Does he want to please me in bed? Does he care how I feel? Is he there for me? Do I trust him? Does he honor me? You know, I think those are things to look for more than the money or the height. In fact, a lot of times you may find that you meet a guy who's an 8 out of 10 looks-wise, or 7 out of 10, and as you get to know him, becomes a 10 out of 10. My recommendation to the ladies is to stop looking for a man to save you, because no man can save you. You have to save yourself, and you are the one. And start with the first step of just dropping the fantasy that a man is there to save you. Start noticing any anger that you have at men. I see all these videos on YouTube and TikTok, these women just like sounding so angry. Like, that's not attractive. And you know, a man who wants to honor a woman is going to look for a woman who is happy and who speaks from the heart, like I'm doing right now, like not angry. And I would say, look for a man that you can be friends with. I would recommend, these are just some suggestions to kind of open your heart a little bit. Instead of looking at men as objects to give you things, money, instead of looking, you know, we don't want men to look at us as vaginas that they can fuck, which many men do. They see us as objects to fuck. And a lot of women see men as objects with wallets. What can he buy for me? What can he do for me? The invitation I have for you is to put yourself in spaces and situations where you can see men as friends and start seeing them as friends. Because ultimately what makes a relationship last and really nourishing is being friends with that person. Going in spaces where you see men as friends and start out by being friends. I would also say that men who are super good looking and women who are super good looking usually make very bad partners because they haven't had to work on their personality. I personally think that guys who are really tall are not that great, because if you try kissing a guy that's that tall, like after like 10 seconds, my neck hurts. And I'm 60 now, so maybe that's why, but I'm like, a guy in my eye level would be so much better. Yes, I want him to be hot. I want him to rock my world in bed. But I think 5'9" is a great height, or 5'8", 5'10". And those six-pack abs just mean he's a gym rat and he's conceited. Guys who have got stuff going on aren't spending hours at the gym flexing. They're pursuing their hobbies, walking their dog, taking care of their wives if they have one. And not that many men make that much money anymore, you know, and this is a sad thing. There are so many men that want to provide for us, but they can't because the economy has changed. We've been just printing all this money, outsourcing our manufacturing, and we have allowed the rich people, the CEOs and the shareholders to siphon the worker productivity onto their own pocketbooks. So the rich are getting richer. So if you want a relationship, I would start looking at men making $50,000, $60,000 a year, get more realistic, you know, see if you can meet a man who's a good friend. I think the greatest damage that we have done is inundating little girls with Disney stories, fairy tales, and Barbie dolls. You know, you don't need to look like a Barbie doll, and your guy isn't going to be a Prince Charming. Don't look for a man to save you from yourself. I myself am not a fan of Disney. I didn't really like my kids to watch Disney movies when they were little. I have 3 kids. I'm not a fan of the Disney movies. I think that they're very loud, they're very scary, and they send a lot of negative messages of, the helpless girl or the princess girl and the king and the prince. That's not how real relationships work. In a real relationship, you guys, you're going to get triggered by your partner, okay? They're going to upset you because sometimes you'll want to do stuff, you'll want them to do stuff with you they don't want to do. You guys will have arguments about how to spend money or whatever. Every couple has arguments. So the important thing is, how does this guy respond when he's mad at you? Is he going to get drunk? Is he going to hit you? Is he going to yell at you? Or is he going to try to work it out? Is your home going to be a safe, calm place? You get these guys making a shit ton of money. It's not. They're constantly working. And a lot of them cheat. And a lot of them don't work on their stuff because they're so good looking. They can always get a new woman. They never had to work on their personality. The best personality guys are the guys that are 5'10" or less. I'll tell you that right now. A guy that had to work on his personality because he doesn't have all the other redeeming factors. I'm sure you can find exceptions, but I think we all had, I had to make peace with the fact that there was no Prince Charming like a year ago. It was very big head fuck for me because I kept thinking there would be this great guy out there who would give me really great sex because my husband sucked in bed because he didn't care. Okay, that's why. And I thought, if I could just have a guy who would be great in bed, I had to let that go because God didn't give me that. By the way, one more thing I want to say is that life isn't here to give us what we want because there's no one in the world who has everything that they want. Maybe you will for a week of your life. Everybody has one part in their life, at least one part, that is a little bit not what they want or a lot not what they want. It could be your health. It could be your finances. It could be your relationships. It could be your living situation. It could be your job. So one of those at least you're going to hate. Everybody. You're going to hate it a lot. It's not going the way you want and you think God has forsaken you. If you're looking for a relationship and you don't have it, that could be the one. God hasn't given you that perfect relationship. Well, I'm here to tell you at 61, what I think so far is that life isn't here to give us what we want. Life is here to help us grow. And when we don't get what we want, a miraculous thing is possible, and it's called surrender. And that's where the peace comes in. It's not from getting that guy with the big money and the big, whatever, if you like, big cocks or little cocks, whatever you're into. It's about surrendering and allowing and accepting. That's the opportunity. That's where the actual joy comes. And then, on the material world, putting ourselves in situations like if we want to meet people, let's get out. Let's get out and meet people. Let's work on our social skills. But I think we have to stop looking for the one because we are the one. And at this time in world history, we're called on to provide for ourselves. We're all called upon to be self-sourced because women don't need men to provide for them anymore. And so many women are choosing to not have anyone at all. And then they're like, well, what can you add to my life? And men do have to add to our lives. We need to trust them and we need to feel safe. So they need to be friends. They need to be a friend. They need to add to our lives. They need to be interesting. They should maybe be funny. They should be a good friend and add to your life and make your life better for being in it, that you actually feel like it's better. And you do the same for the guy. But men are not as picky as we are. If you tell a guy no, he can find 10 other girls. They're not as picky as we are. But they are supposed to use their testosterone in pursuing us. So let them pursue you. Don't be so easy, but be nice. Be pleasant. Start seeing men as friends. So here's my invitation. Surrender to your situation and accept it. Start seeing, realize that there is no Prince Charming to save you. Only you can save you or God can save you. There is no Prince Charming. The world, it doesn't have enough men who make enough money and want to fall in love with you to save you. It's not going to happen. but you can find a decent man and start seeing men as friends and put yourself in social situations where men can be a friend and show you that you feel trustworthy and safe around them, and maybe you want to go out with them. Make them work for it. Don't give them sex so easily. They should have to earn the right to be sexual with you, because your body is worth a lot more. Your vagina is worth a lot more than a penis. And if you don't believe me, just look at what prostitutes earn. $500 an hour is probably a good going rate. I've looked at the ads because I was curious, and no one pays men for sex except other men. So sexually, you are of higher value regardless of your age. I know, because even young guys are trying to come on to me. No, thank you. They're not that picky. They'll fuck anything, a lot of guys. So be selective. You're supposed to be selective, but you're not supposed to be a bitch or unrealistic, in my opinion. So I don't like to see all these angry women on TikTok, and I'm not a fan of, dressing really sluttily, because it brings out the wrong kind of guys. If I look at the women who are happily married, most of them are very natural looking. If you ever watch the Dark Horse podcast with that couple, Brett Weinstein and Heather, his wife Heather, she's kind of a little bit of a pudgy woman, very natural looking. I think these heavyset women, if guys are listening to this, a lot of guys would be better off picking a woman who's a little heavier set, that doesn't wear a lot of makeup. These women usually make better wives and girlfriends, and you look for those skinny Instagram models, you're going to get like a very entitled, superficial woman. So men need to start looking at women who are a 7 or 8 out of 10, who are a little bit pudgier and not so beautiful. And women need to start looking at men who don't make that much money, because most women are a little pudgy and most men don't make that much money. So if you want a relationship, just be a little realistic. Start seeing the other person as a friend rather than as an object to give you something. And I think that's the only way forward, really. So I hope you will get a kick out of my video. Kind of had fun with men, telling them that, a lot of men complain that women are too choosy. We're supposed to be choosy. You're supposed to make us feel safe and trusted, and you're supposed to be a friend. You're not supposed to just want to fuck us, and we're not supposed to just want to fuck you just because you exist. You have to have some social skills. You have to have a job. You have to be consistent. You have to know how to talk to us so that we feel safe around you. And if that's too much to ask, I told the guys, go gay, because guys don't care. They'll fuck anything. Don't get mad at women for having standards. We're supposed to have standards. But I think that the problem could be some of the standards are looking for a savior. You're not a little girl looking for daddy to save you. Daddy had a chance to save you. He probably didn't. And I made another video recently about someone was asking about wanting to be unconditionally loved. No one's going to love you unconditionally. Your parents couldn't do it because they're human. No human is going to love you unconditionally. Your parents are as close as it gets if they were good parents, but a lot of parents were shitty parents, and they couldn't do it either. And sometimes my parents wanted to love me unconditionally and give me something, but they couldn't because they had to take a shower or tend to one of the other siblings or make dinner or go to work, So we have to love ourselves unconditionally. We can't outsource that. But I think we can all expect to be treated with respect and kindness. And by the way, anyone looking to get married, I highly suggest that ladies get married by their late 20s and men by their early 30s, because people who are not married by then usually will never get married, and they usually have a lot of baggage. And what's left out there is the riffraff. Like my kids are in that marrying age, and all their friends are getting married because they're relationship-oriented people. So the only people left in the market after the early 30s are either the guys that are going to graduate school. Sometimes they're, because like I have a son in medical school. He's probably not going to get married till he's all done, and he'll be in his early 30s by then. But if you wait too long, this pickings get slimmer and slimmer, because relationship oriented people will get married. And men who want to get married can find a wife. If they haven't found a wife, it's because they lack some kind of social skills or something. You know, so I'm just saying, at my age, it's all riffraff. I'm sorry. I'm 61. Guys my age, it's all riffraff, because 80% of divorces are originated by women, and women don't leave men who are emotionally attentive to them. Women leave men who are emotionally inattentive to them because they're walled off, or they're working a lot, or they're narcissists, or they're alcoholics, or whatever. And also, guys, when you date women, look for mental health disorders. Some of these ladies who have borderline personality disorder are very charming and very gorgeous, and they're very sexual, and they might draw you in with their charm, but your life will be hell, especially if you have a child with one of them. Pick your mates carefully. Look for warning signs of alcoholism, depression, social anxiety, which can lead to them not wanting to leave the house or work, borderline personality disorder, any of that stuff. Because you're signing up for someone who is going to impact your life more than anything else you will do, more than your job or anything, is the person you choose as your partner. So stop thinking about a guy's money. Look for a guy who's got his shit together and who's a good guy, like a mechanic, or maybe an accountant, you know? Start just seeing women as people you can befriend. Stop looking for the Instagram models. Most of you will never get one. If you do, they're usually bitches. Look for just a regular woman, maybe a little heavy set. You know, consider other races. If you just like white guys, consider Asian guys, Hispanic guys. I don't know. Just open your eyes a little bit. Start thinking about, who can I be friends with? Instead of seeing other people as objects to give you something. You know, look, people are now looking more for like a partnership. Those are just a few of my tips. I hope that they're helpful. If nothing else, I hope they spark a discussion of sorts. And thank you for watching my video.